God, listen, everybody out there, welcome to the Jointski 101. We're going to be coming today talking about cannabis and basically just the origins of how it started here, how here it became, illegal in the United States, and telling you guys a little bit about what kind of flower or what kind of cannabis products you can actually see out there in today's market. So we're going to be talking about
So,
that right away. So the first
so
thing, go
I
ahead.
got to go to school. Is this school?
You better get a pen and paper out, buddy, because don't butcher board paper, boy. Get some
Uh,
fucking pen and paper.
oh, no butcher board paper. So
No,
what do you
put
want me to
that
do with?
Dude, put that shit away, dude. We did two. There you go. Roll that shit up. Now we're talking.
Just like that, huh?
Now we're
Yo,
talking. Roll that shit
re-traumatized
up.
from butcher board paper, huh?
Dude, we had so much
Fuck.
training. We had too much of that garbage going on in fucking where we came from. But anyways,
Go
so
ahead, bro.
I want to talk a little bit about how far back. Like these are the things that we weren't taught when we were younger. Like they didn't even say, they didn't mention this. All they told us was say no to drugs, and that was it. Because the fucking president and the president's wife was telling us some shit to fucking do, right? So the oldest
You say
recorded
that,
history.
that's bad though.
Innocent at the time, it wasn't bad, but now I'm pissed, man. I'm pissed when I found out the fucking benefits of this medicine. It's a plant, man.
Well,
We'll
yeah,
get into
but
it.
I mean, in no defense, they were trying to keep kids away from it.
What fucking kids were out there Anyways,
Ah,
that's I don't bro, we
okay.
didn't listen. I was around it. Don't get me wrong. I grew up around it,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't like, oh shit, they were just handing it to kids and shit. Yeah, there's gonna be some kids.
Gotcha.
The kids want to find it, we're gonna find it. I was
Gotcha.
throwing Chinese stars and shooting guns. Come on, you're gonna find what you want. Anyways, they did a shitty job. But anyway, the oldest recorded history of marijuana was in China about 2500 BC. So like what is that? 4500 years ago?
Jesus Christ.
So we've been using this plant, and here's the crazy part about all that. They actually just came out with a new study that they traced the actual pollen of the plant back, I think if I'm not mistaken, 13 million years, bro. So this plant has been with us this whole time, and you're gonna tell me now because of our presidency, whoever the hell, what Richard Nixon, fuck you, Richard Nixon, told us that it's the number one drug out there. Fuck that. That's bullshit. So, anyways, we're here now. It was outlawed in the United States because of racism. Let's call it what it is. It was because it was found in the jazz community and it was associated with the Mexican community. So they created the name marijuana from cannabis to this to marijuana. Anyway, there's a lot of racism back there. That's the reason why marijuana became what it is and was basically, told to us as children that, hey, you got to stay away from this because, all this shit's going to happen to your life. You try it
Mm-hmm.
once, you're going to fucking, you become a psychotic murderer. That's the
Yeah.
kind of shit that we're talking.
I mean, I know I was giving you some crap, but yeah, it worked on me, man. I never that shit. And I grew up in the South Bronx during the 80s.
Right. So you had it
That
all
was
around you.
that was my reality every single day walking through that shit. So yeah, I never tried drugs, and it was all around me. Crack when that epidemic hit, oof,
Right.
that was crazy. So
Right.
it did its
It's
job,
crazy.
but it was a little too heavy-handed. It's crazy. You ain't lying.
That it was at the time when you're younger, you don't really think of these things. You're like, oh yeah, hey, listen, these are the worst things ever. I mean, I
Mhm.
what kind of experience do you have in life growing up? Nothing. You're a child.
But,
But
but better yet, let's talk about what we made this channel for. So I'm assuming we're gonna learn about concentrates and stuff like that, how to use it, what is available. Because personally, I don't know much, and like we were talking, like there's got to be a community out there that we can service, right?
right, right, no, 100%, 100%. There's a lot of people. I finally got back into. Well, I don't say back into it. You sprinkle weed throughout your life here and there as you're growing up.
Mm-hmm.
But I finally got into smoking about, I think about 7 years ago, roughly. So yeah, about 7 years ago. And I went through do it all. Like at the beginning, they didn't even have flour. They didn't even all they had was the pens, and the pens was amazing. You're like, what the? I can't believe this exists.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit before we get into all the different types. Let's talk a little bit about what it was back in the 60s and 70s that we grew up thinking the hippies and stuff like that, how potent
Mm-hmm.
their weed was. It comes to find out that their potency of their weed was between 1 and 3% THC inside of the weed they were smoking. So very, very extremely low. Stuff that if I would see in the shelf today, I'd be like, I don't want that shit. What is that? What is that? Trash? It's garbage. Throw that shit away.
Yeah.
Get rid of that.
And we talked about this a little bit off camera, but let's think about the toxicity level of the human body back in the 70s. how much crap have we consumed chemically in our
Right.
bodies till now? You know,
And is that
so
and is that gonna play a factor?
yeah, does that 3% hit like a 40% that we have now? We don't know. I
I mean
mean, it's hard to base it. You know.
there's still a lot of older generation that are coming out saying, "Oh, the weed now is stronger," or some of them say that
Mhm.
their fucking shit was gas. Acapulco Gold is something that comes to mind. You know, that's a very popular strain back in the '70s. They say that was the best weed ever. And then you look at it, and then they test it under mic, you know, on these science
Yeah,
shit, and you're like, "This is it's garbage. It's garbage. What is this?"
but
But
but they're basing that on that was the best high that you can get at that time.
right, that was like our
Yeah,
we now we're up to 35-40%. I mean, some people
I
are
mean,
saying even
but
higher than
but
that.
there's
So
certain strains that hit certain culture status. Look at Pineapple Express. You
right,
know,
right. And
so you.
now here's so that's the thing. Now
Mhm.
we're gonna get into it. So let's talk a little bit before we get into it, let's talk a little bit about today's marijuana. So today's marijuana compared to before, like I said, 3%, 1 to 3% at the top before. Now it's up to 30-40%. Some people saying even higher than 40% concentrate. So the level of high you're gonna get is a lot stronger compared to before. So keep
Yeah.
that in mind when you're going into it. But like you said, how here's the thing: when I'm smoking, like you tell me right now, listen, I'm gonna give you 10 strains in front of you, and I'm gonna smoke each and every one, and I'm gonna give you my opinion, how I feel on all these different ones. Let's be honest, that shit ain't gonna happen. It's
Yep.
gonna be all messed up, and probably all the same.
Mhm.
Because to me, when I smoke flower now, no matter what strain I'm smoking, even if I smoke some really high end stuff or even some mid stuff, whatever you want to do, and by mids I mean like your medium grade shit. Um, I get high the same on both of them, you know. And if one gives me, well, I just smoke a couple more hits on the lower grade one, and I'm now at
Mhm.
the same level. So it doesn't really play a huge factor. So don't concentrate too much when you guys go out there to when you're gonna find some flower. Don't go out there and think, okay, I need to get the strongest shit in the market because that's gonna be the best. It doesn't go about that. It's more about I can taste it in the flavors of the strains a little more.
It's
Like
more
that
nuanced.
that's more what I'm about now, getting the flavor of the
Mhm.
actual weed through, making sure it's, just flavors that I like, the terpenes or whatever you want to call them inside. That's what I've
Gotcha.
been doing.
Now,
So
would you? But it does affect your mood, though.
it does. It does. Now, I try to keep track of this. I had a I'm telling you, during COVID, all this shit
Mhm.
changed, man. You were at home. What are you gonna do? Right.
Yeah.
So we're smoking. We're smoking every day. I'm here with I got a fucking pen and paper. I'm writing down the strain
Mhm.
type, how much of it I'm smoking, what kind of feelings did I get, what kind of dreams I had at night because of it. Like trying to keep
Mhm.
track of it to see because I was new to this and I wanted
Yeah.
to know what does an indica do.
You were just breaking it down for yourself, which is cool, which is awesome.
I really wanted to experiment, and I
So
mean, this is
what'd you come out?
my expectation. I came out with
You're a
it's all the
pothead.
same shit, dude. I'm a well, the first fucking class I got 100 on, but definitely,
All right.
definitely it's all the same shit, man. Some people are gonna tell you, no, indicas make you want to go to sleep more, you want to go whatever, get
Mhm.
chill more, and that is just the myrcene. There's a chemical inside called myrcene, a little bit higher. We're talking 5% more myrcene. It's now categorized as an indica because it has 5% more of this myrcene in it. It's not a huge thing, so don't stress too much. I gotta get the creative one. I gotta get the one that makes me sleepy. I think honestly, in the end, after smoking so much, you're not even gonna tell the difference. That's my opinion.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know.
Now,
I know. My personal experience with it was kind
mhm,
of weird because what is it? Indica is the one that traditionally says puts you in the really cool mood, right?
right, indica in the couch, like it puts you in
Yeah,
the
indica.
couch.
Yeah. So that's a term that I kind of knew, but in my mental condition, every time I took it, I got paranoid.
That is a side effect of most marijuana.
So for me, it wasn't a pleasant experience. Like if I took a hit, I would be calm. If I took another hit, then it would go into bad territory. So
So the
that's
higher
why it
you
kept
got,
me off.
the worse the experience you were having. Right.
So yeah, so turns out I tried believe it or not was Pineapple Express.
Really?
And that had the effect that I was looking for. It calmed my basically my thoughts down, my brain down
Okay.
for me to get more creative. So
So you know. So
that
it was a sativa? Do you know what it was? I'm not
Wait,
sure
it
what some
was.
pineapple
It was.
expressions was a
It's a
sativa, right?
hybrid. It's a hybrid. Yeah.
Oh, it's a hybrid. Perfect. Yeah. So you
Hmm.
got some of the other one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's another thing. I'll give you the I'll have a joint right here. We'll share a joint. I'll give you some, and we'll have two different experiences.
Hmm.
But most of the time, we might have the same experience because we're talking next to each other and we
Correct.
kind of go off into the same subjects and stuff. But separate, we'll probably have the same. So sorry, two
Hmm.
different
I
experiences.
think it's all in your mental state when you take it.
I agree. I agree with you.
Hmm.
I agree with you.
So, and maybe more to think about it. If I was depressed and stuff like that, and my brain got calmed down because now I'm in the couch. Now you're giving me more time to think about that crap, and that's probably where the anxiety level came up because I was overthinking now.
Right. You're gonna go. You're definitely gonna go
Yeah.
into your head a
Hmm.
lot, a lot. And that's one of my things that I love about this plant is that it allows me to go deep into my mind and actually find things, whatever you want to call them. You can call them traumas, past experiences, and start healing from these things. You
Yeah.
capture them, you
Understanding
see
them.
them,
Mhm.
understand them, you see them. You don't, and you're like, wait a minute, I don't have to carry this baggage
Yep.
anymore. And then you
Hmm.
start dropping these bags off
Yeah.
because of this plan, how it's helped me in my life. So it's a really powerful healing medicine if you use it correctly. And you keep that in mind while you're trying to do this, when you're
But
trying to do it.
that's. But why is that scary?
Some people don't want to see inside, man.
But
You
why
know,
is that controlled by the government then?
well, that's government been trying to control it. The real reason it's being controlled is because there's so many healing properties that people are going to drop off the medicine. Like they're proving now
Pharmaceuticals.
today, pharmaceutical company, they're coming out with studies now that we're able
Mhm.
to study marijuana. They're coming out that it's being used instead of the gateway drug that fucking Richard Nixon did,
Yeah.
or Nancy Reagan and fucking
Hmm. Well,
anyways.
we'll touch those subjects later.
But if it isn't for that, if it wasn't for them, this stuff would be readily available, easily, right,
Well, even
anywhere
if
right
it
now.
wasn't readily available, maybe don't drop the ban hammer on it and control it and not put it so restrictive. Because there's a
Dude, it was
lot of other drugs, i.e., alcohol, which they tried to do during prohibition, and we all know what that fucking led into, you
right.
know? So it's almost like, bro, you had a past experience with a drug. You saw what the ban hammer did, you know? And here
Why
we are
why why
again.
do it again? Why
Why
do it
do it
again?
again? But
I think it's because we're
when
potheads and we're really not going to get up and go fight while we're high and shit. We're like, fuck it. We'll just get it from the side guy.
yeah, but that sidesteps the programming.
No, again, you're right.
See what I'm saying? That sidesteps like, oh, I don't gotta listen to this dumb shit. Remember what you said? All that childhood trauma gets kind of like packaged up. Yeah, I could deal with this. I don't know how to carry it. Put it away. When you're
Right.
being programmed in society, you got to work capitalism at its greatest. You know?
The conditioning that they've done to us growing up, it's amazing to see it now as an adult. I wonder if they had this, like, I wonder if adults, like, our parents, I wonder
Mhm.
if they noticed this kind of stuff as growing up, like,
Yeah,
damn, we
like
were conditioned
you,
from the
you ever heard
20s
of
and the
those?
30s.
You ever heard of those wives' tales and stuff like that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
We always, I always heard, don't look at TV too long because your eyes get crossed, or don't get too close to the TV. So I'm
yep.
thinking to
You're gonna
myself,
go blind.
the
You know what
fuck?
I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, but it wasn't that. Maybe it was stop watching TV because you're getting fucking programmed. You know what I'm saying? Like take a break. So there
But
was
they
there
didn't
was
even
probably a
know,
hidden
bro.
message in there, huh?
They didn't even know that was
Oh,
being done to us.
my mom used to tell me all the time, stop
Yeah,
watching TV all the
not
time.
me. Oh, not me.
But the
Get
times
well.
that
That's
I
not
used
true.
to be home, but then again, that was maybe 10% of the time. Maybe she knew not to watch TV that long. But we grew up in a different generation, man. I didn't have
We
a
did.
TV in my room until, man, I was like 11, 12.
I got mine
Yeah.
at 10, right around that age. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah,
And
I
then,
think that was because it became cheaper. We
yeah.
were able to
Yeah.
afford.
Yeah. And then you only have certain channels. You only had three
True.
major
True.
networks at the time and a couple of independents. That was like your WB and your CW, like something like that back in the day, but not so fancy. And
Because
what time did TV used to end before cable? Like
what was
2
it? Fucking like
o'clock.
2
The
a.m. You would
freaking
get that. You would get the fucking no. They will give you the star. They will give you the fucking Star Spangled Banner first
yep,
or whatever it was,
yep.
and
Oh,
then
another
gone
programming.
for real. Right before you go to sleep.
Yeah.
You're like, what the? You're in bed.
Yeah, you're in bed saluting. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was TV for us growing up. And let's not even mention the channels. You didn't have that much. You didn't have that many channels, and the reception of the channels were not great.
Whatever you. That's how much power television has had over people their whole lives. I mean, it really is a programming. Like
Yeah,
you said.
yeah. But look at the medium. They use the medium to keep kids away from drugs, to demonize marijuana.
Oh,
That's what it's being used to.
stay tuned, everybody. Listen, stay
Yeah.
tuned. We have an episode coming up on all the shit that we went from
Mhm.
the 70s and 80s that they just
Yep.
poured into us. Wait till you see
That's
the
the
shit we're about to talk
Jointski
about.
pop culture.
Joycey pop culture. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
We got that coming
Mhm.
up. It's gonna be
Yeah, yeah.
a blast talking.
So
Anyway, let's get back to
go ahead.
today's marijuana. So today's marijuana. Now, here's the thing. Back in the day, like in the 70s and stuff, I was like, my family members, I was around marijuana my whole life. Like my uncles, my dad smoked it also. He hid it from me, but I never saw him do it. But come to find out, anyways, everybody was smoking. My mom's, everybody was smoking. So we saw it was lying around the house and stuff, and it was always the same thing. It was always a joint. That was it.
Mhm.
Joint. That was it. Maybe you would find a pipe. I never saw any growing up pipes much. I just saw a bunch of joints. So now today we have technology now. There's another review coming up. Stay tuned for this. They have now that we do concentrates out of. We can do dabs. We can do flour. We can do edibles. They had edibles back then. I don't
And we're going to go through
imagine
all
doing
of that
like that.
at a basic level on this channel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to go
Mhm.
one by one, how to show you how to use flour, how to use concentrates, and how to do edibles, all that kind of stuff. So that's what today's marijuana is really doing. They've branched out and created with science a lot more ways of how to consume. Flour now you can do. Of course, you can smoke it straight out of a joint. You could do it in a bong. You can smoke it in a pipe. I mean, there's
Mhm.
so many different ways of doing flour. Dabbing, there's torches. You've seen the torches, all that kind of stuff. Don't be too afraid of any of this stuff. This
Yep.
stuff is all really going to be ways for you to experiment on high you can get yourself and experiment with going inwardly and start healing from
Mhm.
within. That's the way I use it. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
use it to get. I mean, I use it to get high. Don't take me wrong, but I also use it for internal growth, and that's what I've been using it for. So
Yep. So yeah, that's basically why we started this channel. It's basically why we started this series of Jointski 101. Because I think there's a need. I know if I was to walk into a dispensary, I'd be like, without knowing anything, where do I start? You know, you
it
want to
is.
go
It
in
is
there
a
with a
little
little bit of
intimidating
knowledge. A little bit of knowledge. You know,
for
it
sure.
goes a
For
long
sure.
way. So that's why we're here.
They do have a lot of people there that will help you out. It's a little different when you can do it from your home right here, and listening to somebody that's or people have done it already. So
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty cool.
All right.
But anyway, stay tuned to the next one. We're going to be talking about how to use these products, and different methods and different devices that you can use for all these products. So stay tuned, subscribe if you can, and we'd appreciate it. So let us know. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Peace out.
Later.